y'all. Jan Nappage here with Fox and Hen Farm. Today we are going to continue our fall gardening video series, and we're going to do part one of a two-part series. So today we'll talk about cilantro, and on the next video we'll talk about coriander. So some things to know about cilantro is it is an herb, it is an annual, so it doesn't come back year after year, and it has vitamin A, C, and K. So not only does it add taste to your dishes, but it adds some nutrients as well. Another neat thing to know about cilantro is that it is a pretty quick growing crop, so you can put the seeds in the ground in about 45 to 55 days, depending on some weather elements, you'll get to be able to harvest it. So when you're seeding it, you put it about 1 inch in the ground and cover with soil. And you also want to make sure that you overcrowd when you seed and you do not thin when it pops up, when it sprouts or germinates. Cilantro likes to be crowded, and if you do leave it crowded, it will help it not to bolt early. So bolting is when it goes to flower and seed. You want to prevent that, because once that happens in a plant, it usually becomes bitter and you can't harvest it anymore. It's putting its energy into that part of the plant as opposed to the part that you eat and that tastes good and delicious. Another thing that helps cilantro to not bolt too early is partial shade, or growing in the cooler months, so that's spring and fall. That's why we're talking about it now. I planted cilantro in our garden next to my pepper plant, so it would get partial shade the second half of the day. So there are some options. Play with it, see what's best for your garden. When you harvest, you want to just take what you need for that day. It doesn't keep very well in the refrigerator, on the counter, or anything. And you'll just use some scissors and you'll cut a few inches off the stem. You'll leave some leaves so that photosynthesis can continue and it can keep growing for you to come and cut it again and harvest. So I like to call that a cut and come again plant or crop. So something that is good to know when you're growing cilantro, if you never have, or what can you use it in? So what dishes? So we use it in things like tacos, guacamole, lemon, cilantro rice blend. There are way more options. Those are just the predominant ones at our house. So when you let your cilantro finally go to flower and seed, you can do two things. So you can let it seed, harvest when the seeds are mature, dry them out, and store them in an airtight container, and you can seed again in the spring. Or you can let it go to seed, let them mature, and let them drop and self-seed, and then the cilantro will just grow on its own in the spring. And it should be fine to overwinter in the soil. It should be no problem. That's actually what we did this year. So our fall 2019 cilantro went to seed, we let them fall, and then it grew itself back up, and then the spring cilantro I actually harvested and seed saved for this crop. So we've done both, and they both work just fine. So just whatever works best for you, depending on time and all that. So this is the first part, as I said, so stay tuned for coriander, which are the seeds of cilantro. So they are one plant, two different uses. So just stay tuned and have fun with it, and happy gardening.